Buongiorno a tutti, benvenuti a questo nostro convegno sull'innovazione. È un modo che la nostra rete di imprese Edinnova vuole presentarsi verso l'esterno e presentare temi di strettissima attualità nel settore delle costruzioni. Innanzitutto vi voglio presentare velocemente Edinnova, chi siamo, cosa facciamo e perché lo facciamo. E parto innanzitutto dal perché lo facciamo. Lo facciamo perché crediamo fortemente nell'innovazione come strumento per poter competere. Per questo motivo abbiamo costituito una rete di imprese che operano ovviamente nel settore dell'edilizia senza nessun tipo di vincoli, come è l'innovazione, quindi non c'è un limite territoriale, non c'è un limite di dimensione. L'importante è aver voglia di innovare, di lavorare nel settore dell'edilizia e soprattutto aver voglia di investire, perché poi l'innovazione non capita per caso, ma avviene quando si investe anche. E cosa facciamo? Investiamo in progetti di ricerca e sviluppo che ci rendono sempre, come dicevo prima, più competitivi. E oggi vogliamo creare dei ponti in cui ci rendiamo conto come l'innovazione sia da tantissime parti e andiamo a cercare i best in class, chiamiamoli così, che si trovano da varie parti, proprio per portare anche quello stimolo e il confronto con le nostre imprese. Abbiamo individuato 2 collaborazioni sia con le Contec di Tel Aviv che con EMPA di Zurigo, che poi andiamo a presentare. Ma soprattutto ho il piacere ora di introdurre Fabio Sanfratello, che è vicepresidente di ANCE con delega all'innovazione, perché poi il settore delle costruzioni è un settore vastissimo, in cui ci sono tantissime imprese dalle dimensioni più disperate, quindi tantissime ovviamente micro e piccole, poi ci sono ovviamente le grandi, ma un settore grandissimo che probabilmente c'è da tantissimi millenni, perché è da tantissimo che parliamo di costruzioni, ma è forse anche quel settore che rispetto ad altri fa più fatica a portare avanti progetti di innovazione. E un po' la nostra rete di imprese vuole essere una risposta anche a questa situazione. Quindi passo la parola a Fabio Sanfratello, che innanzitutto ringrazio ovviamente per voler portare il suo contributo a questo nostro convegno.
Grazie, buonasera, grazie dell'invito. Io ho colto subito l'occasione per partecipare perché io come vicepresidente nazionale ho la delega di innovazione e tecnologia. Come accennava prima tu, il mondo delle costruzioni è molto, diciamo, variopinto, misto, c'è di tutto. Dalle nostre indagini che abbiamo fatto con il nostro centro studio abbiamo visto non solo le imprese del lance, ma tutte le imprese di costruzione. Le imprese di costruzioni sono, gran parte sono non piccole e medie, ma microimprese, hanno non più di 10 addetti. Per cui è un mondo molto frastagliato che però negli ultimi anni ha subito un'enorme crisi, una crisi del settore edilizio che viene da più di 10 anni. Ora forse si vede un poco la luce in fondo al tunnel, grazie anche al famoso decreto rilancio, anche che il legislatore, il governo ha messo in campo degli strumenti legislativi innovativi che stranamente l'Europa ci invidia. Siamo i primi precursori su questo, tra cui il famoso super bonus, per cui tutto parte dalla rigenerazione delle nostre città, città che non sono più al passo con i tempi. Gran parte delle nostre città sono state costruite con vecchie metode costruttive, non sono più adatte agli usi. Poi nell'ultimo anno con la pandemia siamo stati costretti a vivere nelle nostre case, racchiuse nelle nostre mura domestiche, e abbiamo dovuto constatare tutte le enormi difficoltà, la vetustà di tutti i nostri edifici, le zone comuni, gli edifici condominiali e tutto, con la mancanza di servizi non al passo con i tempi. prima di tutto connessioni internet, connessioni digitali, dove in gran parte del nostro territorio, il vasto territorio dell'Italia, molte aziende magari arriva ancora molto bene la fibra, in alcune non arriva niente, per cui siamo stati costretti a stare chiusi in casa e abbiamo capito tutte le difficoltà e tutto il mondo che ci sta attorno, e ne eravamo molte volte diciamo esiliati dentro casa. Per cui, ritornando alla vostra ottima iniziativa, noi come associazione di costruttori, a maggior ragione quando su Edinnova uno dei promotori è Ance Bergamo, poi ho visto che tra le imprese c'è anche altre imprese, c'è l'impresa pure del vostro presidente di Ance Bergamo, con cui abbiamo collaborato tantissime volte, per cui noi come ANCE nazionale vogliamo favorire, pubblicizzare e mettere a conoscenza di tutte le buone prassi che vengono fatte nei territori, perché molte volte, sai, ci sono delle invidie, no? Sai, ma l'hanno fatto Berga, se hanno fatto una cosa bene, falla, copiamola, portiamola avanti, perché molte volte anche tra noi imprenditori c'è questa gelosia, invidia e cose, no, non lo faccio perché l'ha fatto Bergamo, no, noi come ANCE nazionale, che siamo, ricordo che ANCE raggruppa oltre 100 territoriali e oltre 20 organizzazioni regionali, per cui siamo una struttura che da oltre 70 anni è presente nel territorio, ci sentiamo, rappresentiamo le imprese più strutturate in ANCE, ma nel mondo delle costruzioni, ma anche le piccole e medie imprese. Problema che si verifica moltissime delle volte è che moltissime piccole aziende sono molto restie a mettere nel loro cassetto degli attrezzi l'innovazione. Parliamo un esempio che è un rivoluzionario del BIM. Moltissimi dici, ma perché mi devo innovare? Ma per cosa? Purtroppo deve farlo perché se no uscirà fuori dal mercato. Ad esempio nel BIM, se non c'era poi una corretta relazione, sinergia tra il produttore, il progettista, l'esecutore, il collaudatore, e anche perché poi nel BIM si ha poi la vita di tutto l'edificio, perché tu sai poi effettivamente la vita, quanto dura un edificio, hai tutto, però la cosa più importante, e questo oggi ne parleremo insieme a tutti, è la rete, fare sinergia e fare massa comune, perché l'importante è stare chiuso tra le proprie mura all'interno della propria provincia e cosa non porta nessun risultato. Noi come ANCE abbiamo iniziato a fare tante cose, abbiamo collaborazione con tantissime altre associazioni, abbiamo costituito tanti anni fa Federcostruzione insieme a Confindustria e tutta la filiera delle costruzioni, sta andando bene, ma in tutto questo abbiamo in essere tantissimi progetti, moltissimi sono sulla piattaforma digitale delle costruzioni, dove tutti gli attori della filiera delle imprese delle costruzioni possono avere tutti i materiali, tutti i progetti, tutti in un modo digitale, in modo che chiunque possa essere interconnesso e collaborare. Per cui poi la cosa principale è l'innovazione. L'innovazione non parte subito, si fa piano piano, si investe. Ci sono dei piccoli applicativi web, tra cui ce n'è uno, faccio un esempio che ve lo dico perché sono a Berga, Edilgo, esempio, che sono di ragazzi vostri, che è una piattaforma di preventivazione, che è una cosa molto semplicissima, che noi stiamo cercando di sviluppare insieme a loro e proporre ai nostri usuari. È una cosa molto molto semplice, addirittura la loro è gratuita. Poi ci sono tanti applicativi sulla gestione tutta la documentazione all'interno del cantiere. Il cantiere deve essere digitale, non ci deve essere più carta, deve essere sempre tutto sui cloud, deve essere tutto accessibile da tutti, da chiunque e con qualsiasi altra professionalità. In tutto questo è importante la formazione continua, investire nella formazione. Noi come imprese di costruzione siamo forse tra i primi, siamo stati che abbiamo degli enti paritetici formati insieme ai sindacati, che sono le scuole edili, le casse edili e il CPT, e con le scuole edili insieme ai sindacati facciamo della formazione continua, che anche la formazione continua si adegua col passo dei tempi. Noi ad esempio stiamo facendo però tantissima formazione sull'utilizzo di isolamenti termici, cappotti, pannelli fotovoltaici, che non si faceva. Figurati nelle imprese del sud, se uno parlavi di cappotto e pensava al cappotto di lada in lodene, per cui moltissimi, anche noi ci siamo dovuti aggiornare, ma è una cosa che non si fa da un momento all'altro, per cui bisogna investire la sinergia. Noi abbiamo tantissime collaborazioni, speriamo di continuare con voi, con altre associazioni, parlo con Anitec, Assobeton, Ampar, che poi che sono quelli, l'associazione dei produttori riciclati dei rifiuti all'interno dei cantieri, che è sempre nell'ottica dell'economia circolare, perché poi parliamo sempre di ambiente. Io ripeto sempre, oltre a rispettare l'ambiente, fa bene anche la tasca, perché moltissimi dicono, ah vabbè, è una cosa in più. No, perché se tu riutilizzi i materiali in cantiere, riutilizzi, anche se molte norme in Italia, come sempre, non sono ben precise, produce delle grosse economie. Per cui l'ottima iniziativa che avete fatto voi potrebbe, anzi deve dar vita a una nuova collaborazione, un nuovo modo di pensare e di lavorare in sinergia e collaborare fin dall'inizio, fin quando si progetta insieme agli studi professionali e si pensa un'opera. Io poi starò con voi tutta la durata, perché ho visto che poi ci sono ottimi relatori, per cui sempre per me sono sempre cose nuove, mi innovo e faccio di tutto per portare la voce in lancia e far sì che le imprese capiscono che l'unica via è digitalizzare e innovarsi, perché non c'è futuro su questo e bisogna investire.
Condivido appieno, Fabio. Grazie, grazie delle tue parole. E sono d'accordo con te che non esiste più il termine invidia, ormai la parola chiave è connessione e integrazione, cioè dobbiamo fare sinergia, quindi hai annunciato, hai detto prima che magari uno entra perché c'è l'altro, non funziona più e chi pensa di andare avanti in questo modo avrà vita sempre più difficile. Oggi l'innovazione corre così veloce, la competizione corre così veloce che uno deve porre la propria attenzione e il suo sguardo su dove effettivamente va il mercato e non può permettersi di rimanere indietro, perché altrimenti questo lo paga. E lavoriamo non solo a imprese, ma a intero ecosistema. Quando si parla di edilizia c'è un ecosistema. Un'azienda è competitiva non solo quando lei è competitiva, ma quando tutti i suoi fornitori, tutti quegli suoi stakeholder sono in qualche modo competitivi. E noi dobbiamo partire da lì, creare tutto un ecosistema innovativo. E ti ringrazio ancora perché
grazie a voi per
la vostra presenza, oltre a onorarci, ci dà forza a questo progetto. And now let me switch in English, and I want to begin with an ancient Chinese proverb that says that the winds of change, when the winds of change blow, someone build walls, others builds windmills. This evening, we want to build bridges, and we want to build bridges that lead us, first of all, to Israel, in Tel Aviv, and I'm very pleased to introduce you to Mr. Flatto. Mr. Flatto is the CEO of Contact. Contact is an incubator of tech startups in the construction field. And here you are, Mr. Flatto.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. And thanks a lot for giving us the opportunity to speak to you this evening. Really exciting. I would like to share with you a presentation. Can you give me the permission?
Yep. One moment.
No problem.
We are working.
No problem.
Yep.
I can tell you, meanwhile, I've been to Bergamo.
One moment.
Three years ago.
Tell us something more about Contact.
Yeah, I'm telling you something about my visit to Bergamo
Okay.
3 years ago. Last time I've been to Italy, and I really miss it. So
Okay.
hopefully, maybe the end of this year. I don't know if things are getting better. But okay, I can share my screen now.
Hey, you are online now.
Yeah, can you see my screen? Let me just share it again just for a second, because I would like to show you some videos as well. So just a second. I need to define it. Share sound. All right, now we're ready. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So thanks again for giving me this great opportunity. I would like to start by taking you to a historical tour of the Israeli automotive industry. So we're starting with automotive, not with construction. So this is a car made in Israel, I think 70 years ago, long time ago. It's not similar to your cars. Doesn't look like Fiat or Alfa Romeo. That's a car made of fiberglass. And to say the truth, it was quite lousy. But that was the flagship of the Israeli industry, Israeli automotive industry. They used to make a joke that if you leave it on the desert, you can't go with it to the desert because the camels are going to eat it. But that was the flagship of our industry back in the 50s of the last century. And if we're jumping, I think 60 years ahead, 65 years ahead, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mobileye. Mobileye is an Israeli company doing the autonomous driving technology. And that's a company acquired by Intel for 15 billion US dollars. It was the biggest acquisition in the Israeli high tech ever. And today, obviously, that's the flagship of our industry, automotive industry. And probably that system is installed in a lot of also Italian cars. The interesting thing is that it's not the only company dealing with automotive in Israel. We have above 700 companies, startups dealing with automotive in Israel. So we're not manufacturing cars anymore, but we're manufacturing a lot of technology, the surrounding of the car, like autonomous driving, like sensors, and more stuff around that. And for me, this is a lighthouse. I would like to make the same process in construction tech and turn Israel into a central hub for construction technologies. And that's why I initiated Contact 4 years ago, the beginning of 2017. Back then, I understood that there is a good opportunity to make it, because there's no hub, there's no central hub for construction globally. There was no such thing. So I've joined the Israeli government, Ministry of Housing and Construction, Ministry of Economy, and the Association of Israeli Builders, and we founded together Contact. So Contact is a construction innovation center based here in Tel Aviv, Israel. Just a short brief about the Israeli industry to give you some figures. It's about the revenues of the industry is about 25 billion US dollars a year, something around 10% of the GNP. A lot of construction is going on during the last years in Israel. So we're building like 60,000 apartments a year. a lot of infrastructure, light rail, underground, new roads, new infrastructure, new airports, harbors, a lot of foreign companies operating in Israel. Also, a couple of Italian contractors are operating in Israel. So there's a lot of work here, and we're investing a lot of money, and probably after COVID, even more than that. The reason I'm showing this slide is that there is a good opportunity for every startup in Israel to operate, to start in Israel and test their technologies in here. And I'll give you a couple of examples about that. Just to give you an idea, this is how Tel Aviv looked like 90 years ago from the air. And this is how it looks like today. So there's a lot of development going on, a lot of high rises. This is true. This is not virtual reality. Yes, it's all true. And there's a lot of construction going on in Israel. So what are we doing? Before I will give you a couple of examples for the exciting technologies. We're building this ecosystem. I heard you spoke about the ecosystem. I understood the word, the same word in Italian, but we're building this ecosystem, connecting the startups to the industry. This is a big, big challenge. You know, this connection is not easy because the gap between the industry, the contractors, the developers, and the technologies is huge. There's a huge gap between that. How do we do that? How do we build this ecosystem? So we're doing a lot of industry events like meetups, demo days, hackathons, international events. I will speak about our event in a few minutes. We're having an international event, the second one in 3 months. So I would like to invite you to that event. Second thing is we're running an incubation program where we're working on an annual program with a couple of startups with 2 main targets. The first one is a kind of a product market fit process where we're helping these startups, these smart guys and ladies, to understand the industry, because a lot of smart people comes out of the technological military units in Israel, doing some great stuff, but they don't understand the market. They don't understand construction. And this is a big challenge to make them understand the industry, to connect them to the field. It's a huge challenge. So we're working with them closely in order to help them to understand that market. Second thing, we're helping them get funded. So we're connecting them to investors like business angels, corporate VCs, contractors, and some others. And we're also working with industry partners. So I'll elaborate about the industry partners in a minute. So that's a couple of examples for our industry events in Israel and globally. You can see here I've been to, in this picture, I've been to Hong Kong. By the way, with these Italian guys, Italian entrepreneurs, Italian company, you might be familiar with. They're dealing with purifying the air using paint. So their paint is purifying the air inside the rooms. That's from our last international event pre-COVID, and a couple of other interesting events in the States, Europe. So we had some nice events. So as I mentioned before, we're working with GCs and developers. GCs are general contractors, like probably most of you. We're working with software vendors that are working with the construction industry. So you're probably familiar with Autodesk, with Trimble, and some others. Working with materials and building methods providers. So again, you're probably familiar with Cemex, LafargeHolcim, which are also one of our partners, and some others. Machinery companies. So for instance, Hilti is working with us closely. And utilities. So we're working with Innogy. We're also working with the guys from NL in their accelerator program here in Israel. So that's an example for different segments, different corporates that are working with us. Now, I want to give you a couple of examples for interesting and exciting startups. But before that, I would like to show you a map describing the different segments of startups in Israel. So you can see in here, that's a map, it's already half a year ago, but it's divided into construction tech and prop tech. You can see that map in our website in contact.me. You can see it's divided into materials, on-site execution, project management, safety, planning and design, some really cool examples of planning technologies, inspections, and as-built monitoring for on-site, and infrastructure technologies. So in the few minutes we're left, I want to give you a couple of examples and show you a couple of videos describing these couple of technologies. So the first technology that I want to start with is technology of robotics. The pain here is the cost of materials and labor. You're probably familiar with that. The solution is a robotic arm, which you'll see in a minute, doing painting and plastering using this robotic arm. It's highly accurate. It's using a lot of high technology like AI and advanced computer vision. And they were part of our incubation program. That's a company called Okibo. Let me show you a video of this technology. Can you see my screen? Can you see the video? By the way, that's old school. No visualization. So that's again that's an interesting technology already working. It's still, it's a prototype, but it's working. Now I'm moving to the planning stage, planning and design stage, and that's a company called Swap. The pain is planning and building of commercial spaces, not just commercial, but also residential. So, the planning process is slow, is very expensive. It's not optimized. Yeah, so you know you're planning something. You never know if the separation, if the spaces are planned using optimization. Probably not. And the solution is automated planning technology, which optimize the space using modularity, using prefab, a lot of optimization algorithms, and it's sustainable because it's using the same systems for different separations, for different planning schemas. Let me show you also a video of that technology. So in here you can see a space, and that space is right now is empty, but it's being designed by the technology. So they're designing the infrastructure. Somehow the video, oh, so you can see they're designing the infrastructure, and now designing the air condition, the sprinklers, the water, the fire, including all the walls and windows, and using the same systems, the same infrastructure, the same fire sprinklers, creating completely different design, but using the same hardware. And that's the solution of that technology. Right now, they're dealing also with residential, not just with offices. Now, the third technology is a technology connected to infrastructure. And the pain here is accurate land surveying and marking. So you know that currently you're using people, surveyors, in order to mark new projects of roads, of bridges, of rails. Cost a lot of money. It's not that accurate. There's a lot of mistakes, and it's pretty slow. And their solution is using drones, and not just drones. Currently, they're also doing robotics, like small robotics that are drilling down these pins into the earth using drones or robots with clear instruction, readable by any smart device. There's a lot of AI and computer vision in this technology, and they are also alumni of our incubation program. So let's see a video of that. Can you see the video?
Yes.
So we can see more and more technologies dealing with just a second, I'm trying to get back. Okay. More and more technologies dealing with infrastructure, getting into our ecosystem. Companies using drones for inspection of bridges, for instance. We'll see another infrastructure technology in a minute. Now, getting back to construction phase to buildings, a company called Genda. The pain is a lot of money is wasted, a lot of safety, a lot of accidents occur daily, projects overrun budget and schedule. And the solution is tracking after the workers on site, creating a lot of data and analyzing a lot of that data, creating a lot of insights out of that data. Technology here basically is an application installed on the employees, on the workers' smartphones, with RTLS installed on the on-site itself, on the job site. A lot of machine learning. Again, also one of our incubation program alumni. So that's Genda.
The construction site is complex. Due to lack of data, site managers spend hours a day understanding project status, making decisions based on gut feelings, instead of taking care of quality and safety issues. With Genda, site managers can make data-driven decisions to have better control over resources and monitor project progress. Using several data streams from designated sensors and smartphones application, Genda's platform automatically generates real-time project data. Safety accidents are prevented. And quality can be assured before it's too late. Genda, generating data, eliminating waste, ensuring safety.
So this is Genda. Our next technology is going back to infrastructure, and the pain here is simply monitoring a complex infrastructure project constantly and remotely. So you guys are familiar with that. Roads projects, infrastructure projects, bridges. It's pretty hard to monitor what's going on in the job site itself. And this solution is enabling infrastructure companies to monitor the progress and to understand what's going on, quality, budget-wise, on a daily basis, using easy and relatively cheap solution. So let me show you Datamate. That's the technology.
DataBIM is taking construction infrastructure management to the next level with daily field data analytics for more accurate BIM modeling, project planning, and progress tracking. Daily drone surveying and mapping allows for accurate and frequent as-built comparisons of design plans that ease management and control of large construction projects and keep surveyors safe. Cloud-based operation enables infrastructure construction managers to access stored projects and track progress wherever they are. DataBIM dashboards, reports, alerts, and accurate forecasts, as well as vectorized measurements and CAD outputs, help project managers make real-time informed decisions to minimize delays and save significant costs. Datamate's DataBIM, field analytics for on-schedule and on-budget construction infrastructure projects.
So that's Datamate. Now our last technology for today is a company called Insight. The pain is inefficient job site. You know, nobody really understands what's going on in the job site in a holistic point of view. Obviously, employee safety, and the solution is automated tower crane technology. Imagine yourself autonomous tower crane, like you have these autonomous cars, the Teslas. You're getting improved side view and communication with the workers, much more safer operations, and efficiency is really improved. again, technology here is AI and a lot of computer vision. So let's see a video of Insight.
In work sites around the world, a new kind of intelligence is at site, powered by AI and deep learning. It is breaking down old boundaries, cutting through bottlenecks, enabling traditional global industries to work more intelligently, making construction of our cities safer, ensuring sustainable agriculture and food security, allowing supply chains to flow seamlessly, making sure the world's precious resources are extracted efficiently, and reaching their destinations with optimal efficiency. It takes vision to leverage a blue ocean, unleashing untold efficiencies and new opportunities for growth. But the benefits are vast. The time has come for traditional industries to be powered by pure insight. Don't miss out. Join Insight.
So that's the straight technology, really exciting. They're doing really, really good. So that's all for this evening. I'll be happy to answer questions. You're welcome to join us to contact.me. That's my email. I'm on LinkedIn as well. I will send you also invitation for our international contact event that's already in our website. That's going to be in July 12th and 13th. It's going to be a digital event, so you're welcome to join us for that event. It will be really, really interesting with a lot of different topics. 2 days. I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
Thank you very much, Lucky. Thank you. You have proposed a lot of very, very interesting projects, and I think that we go forward in our collaboration for maybe a next event in this summer. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now the turn of the second bridge to Switzerland in Zurich. I'm very pleased to introduce you to Daniela Bellesini, country manager of Greater Zurich area. And can you hear me, Daniela?
Sì, sì.
Ok.
Yes, of course. Parlerò in italiano in questa breve introduzione, così...
Benissimo. Avanti, allora ti lascio introdurre il secondo ponte che ci porta in Svizzera per capire le opportunità in ambito del settore delle costruzioni con la Svizzera, per poi entrare più nel dettaglio proprio del progetto di EMPA e del NEST. Grazie Daniela, a te la parola.
Grazie mille. Allora intanto grazie per l'invito, grazie a Edinnova e grazie anche a Confindustria. Io sono molto felice di essere qui e di rappresentare appunto GZA, in qualità di rappresentante GZA, perché questa è un'occasione in cui si parla tanto di open innovation, ma c'è anche un'apertura sulla condivisione delle informazioni e di conseguenza sono informazioni senza confini che fanno bene ad entrambe le parti e di conseguenza credo che sia veramente un'occasione molto importante. Allora io introdurrò brevemente che cos'è la Greater Zurich Area e poi lascerò la parola a Enrico Marchesi dell'EMPA, che vi parlerà di questo interessantissimo di questa interessantissima piattaforma che è il NEST. Vorrei avere la possibilità di condividere il video, lo schermo.
Un attimo.
Sì. Ditemi voi quando...
Ok. No, avanti. riprova a ricliccare su condividi schermo, scusa Daniela.
Vai.
Perché sei autorizzata. Riclicca su condividi per favore Daniela.
Ho ricliccato su condivide.
Niente. Proviamo ancora una volta, altrimenti andiamo a braccio, Daniela.
Va bene, non c'è problema.
No, non vediamo lo schermo, Daniela. Direi di andiamo avanti comunque.
Vado a braccio. Allora, GZA, che cos'è? Allora, la Greater Zurich Area è una partnership pubblico-privata che è composta da 9 cantoni della Svizzera tedesca e italiana e oltre 30 partner, tra cui partner tecnologici. I nostri partner tecnologici sono universalmente riconosciuti come delle eccellenze, in quanto sono l'ETH, l'EMPA e l'EAVAG. Oggi la GZA è molto focalizzata sulla Open Innovation e sulla promozione della innovazione anche spinta, ossia di cooperazione con altri paesi, proprio perché è molto sentita la necessità di collaborare, di allargare il networking e di utilizzare le competenze di altri paesi per utilizzarle all'interno del proprio e per aumentare la competitività del paese stesso. Volevo specificare che GZA ovviamente si avvale di collaborazioni già anche con altri paesi come Israele, di cui abbiamo parlato un momento fa, e vorrei dire 2 parole anche su EMPA e su EAVAG e NEST, proprio perché sono per noi dei partner fondamentali e possono portare un valore aggiunto non solo alla Svizzera, ma a tutti quelli che vogliono avvicinarsi a questi centri di ricerca di eccellenza. Allora vorrei dire che l'EMPA è l'Istituto di Ricerca Interdisciplinare del Dipartimento dell'ETH, ossia del Politecnico Federale per la Scienza dei Materiali e la Tecnologia, e rappresenta un ponte. Stai parlando tu di ponti. Esso è proprio un ponte tra ricerca e applicazioni pratiche, perciò fornisce soluzioni innovative per le grandi sfide dell'industria, che sono sempre maggiori e di conseguenza necessitano sempre di maggiore competenza e di maggiore collaborazione. Inoltre crea basi scientifiche per lo sviluppo sostenibile della nostra società. Quale istituzione dei Politecnici Federali, inoltre, l'EMPA ha come obiettivo il raggiungimento, lasciatemi dire, dell'eccellenza in tutte le sue attività. L'EMPA, inoltre, proprio per aumentare e per avvantaggiare lo sviluppo dell'innovazione, ha creato quelli che sono chiamati dimostratori, ossia delle piattaforme di ricerca e di trasferimento tecnologico, e il NEST è proprio uno di questi. Tant'è che il NEST è un fiore all'occhiello ed è un edificio modulare di ricerca e innovazione voluto da EMPA e da EAVAG, che ha il compito di verificare, ricercare, sviluppare e convalidare in condizioni reali nuove tecnologie, nuovi materiali e nuovi sistemi. La stretta collaborazione con i partner del mondo della ricerca, del mondo dell'industria e del mondo del settore pubblico facilitano molto e accelerano l'emissione sul mercato di tecnologie innovative per l'edilizia e l'energia, e contemporaneamente, cosa estremamente importante, rendono l'uso delle risorse più sostenibile e circolari. Io lascerei a questo punto la parola a Enrico Marchesi, che è Business Development Manager di Nest, che ci illustrerà molto un'interessantissima presentazione. Grazie mille.
Grazie Daniela. Ha la parola a Enrico. It's your turn.
Grazie Daniela. Welcome. My name is Enrico Marchesi. Sì, è un nome italiano, sì, sono di origine italiana, ma non sono cresciuto con la lingua italiana, così il mio italiano è abbastanza bene per andare in vacanze, ma non per questa roba tecnica, so we have to switch in English. I apologize.
It's okay.
Let me share my screen with you. Okay. Hang on a second. Okay, now you should be able to see that screen. Is that so?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm going to tell you something about Nest tonight and some examples. It will be impossible to show you everything. Nest is huge. Some of you have seen it, but I'll try to give you some examples. So the agenda is the motivation of Nest, why we do it, the concept, and then 2 selected units. Units is the name for our projects. Right now we have 6 units in operation. We have 2 in construction and 1 in planning, so it's really only a small part I can show you. That's why I invite you to visit Nest once this crazy situation is over. So, motivation. We're in the construction industry. Huge topics are resources, waste, efficiency. If we look global, worldwide at buildings, we see huge figures. Buildings worldwide account for 40% of the global resources, material resources, 40% of greenhouse gases, 50% of energy demand, and of water demand. Looking at the economic factor of the construction industry, it's one of the biggest, if not the single biggest industry worldwide. On the other hand, this is a statistic from the OECD. Productivity. If we look at manufacturing between 1995 and 2014, manufacturing has doubled its productivity. The total economy went up 70%. If we look at construction within 20 years, 10%, and these 10% is basically China. Okay, what does this tell us? There's a huge potential. First of all, there is a necessity to do something, looking at the resources and the energy. And second, there's a huge business potential, and it's in the efficiency and the productivity. But why isn't it happening? That's the key question everybody's dealing with. My speaker before is trying to improve that. So that's the problem. And basically what we see, this is not only for construction, but we see on one hand, we have research going on, and there's lots of good stuff typically going on. And on the other side, there is the market. And what we typically see is the phenomenon of valley of death. So only a small part of what's in the pipeline in research and university, and also in the companies, in the market, is really making it to the market. And Nest, the concept, the basic idea of Nest is building the bridge over that valley of death. Now you can do this in various ways. You can address this in various ways, incubators and research pushing and all these kind of things. But we chose a physical bridge. We chose a playground, the concept of Nest. So this is a rendering. You will see real pictures afterwards. This is what we call the backbone. That's the infrastructure of Nest. You see there, it's a building and it has 3 platforms. And at this stage, this is nothing more than fully developed construction sites. And on these construction sites, we realize building projects. So the backbone here provides the space, it provides the energy, the traffic access, water, wastewater, data management, and all these kind of things. But this is just construction sites where we can start build houses. We don't call these houses, we call them units. But basically, these units are fully functional houses with specific research and innovation questions and a specific use case. Now, this is a real picture. This is already 3 years old, but you see, for example, this is a unit, and we're going to talk about this unit. It's called Urban Mining and Recycling. That's another unit up here. There is one in construction here now. There is one in operation here now. So you see, only within 3 years, we have realized much more, and it's going to be a constant stage. But what's the approach here? Important. It is a living lab. So these units are not laboratories, are not university laboratories. They're also not exhibitions. These are buildings that are used. For example, this is an apartment. 2 people are living here. This is a fitness center with sauna and everything. Of course, the topic is energy. This is an office space. So real people are using these buildings, so we have the real world experience. So, and we can discover real world faults and errors. It's research driven. It's research and development driven. So we're looking at what's going on, what could be interesting, what makes sense. Really important. It's an open platform because, and that's really important. You really have to be aware of that. What's happening in Nest is not EMPA innovation, only a very small fraction, but it's really an open platform for the industry, for universities, for research institutes, and for the public hand. These form project consortia with us, and we realize these projects together. So it's really important. We provide the platform. The innovation comes from the partners that are using the platform. We're just pulling the strings. We're the director, like in a film. Holistic means all building relevant topics are welcome. This can be energy, this can be materials, process, manufacturing, using buildings, water topics. So there's no limits in what topic is implemented in Nest, as long as it is related to the building sector. And it's dynamic. Nest is constantly changing. These units are not fixed. They stay here for a couple of years, 10 years maybe, until the work is done. Then they move out. Something new is coming in. What are the advantages? Basically, the Nest is building in research innovation in real time. Now, for research, it's a platform that allows research institutes, universities to move closer to the market, come out of their labs and do the next step in a real building. For the industry, it's a place to make errors. It's a place to screw up. And that's it's really a risk reduction tool for the industry, because we are something like a first customer. So we're building real houses, and the industry comes with their prototypes, their 0 series. And again, this can be a material, it can be a software, it can be a building technology, it can be everything. And if it doesn't work according to specifications, we as a customer are not pushing the partner for compensation or something. So it's a first customer without the risk of a first customer. And then for the construction sector in general, we have huge public attention, and we have meanwhile 160 partners from industry and academia worldwide. We have real big ones and real small ones. So it's a really nice package to do real-time innovation in the building sector. I really have to be quick because there's so much more to tell. 2 selected units. Again, it's only 2 topics. We heard some topics before in the speech before. Robotic building, we have it. Drones, we have it. Software BIM, we have it. We have much more, but these are only 2 topics. One is really relevant. The unit is called Urban Mining and Recycling. And the question is, how do we build tomorrow? Because let's do a little statistics. Figures of world population this morning. 7.8 million, 4.4 people born per second. This year, so far, for 42 million people are dying. Growth rate per second, global, 2.3 people. Now, if we take a country, I took Germany, and look how much material is already built, is already in the built environment, and look how per capita, per person. And then we say how much material we need to bring these 2.3 people per second to the same standard. It's over 1,000 tons per second. Now you can lie with statistics, you can play games, but it's the order of magnitude. And I mean, in the future, we will have to build for many more people with much less material available. We have resources, copper, other metals, sand, that are really going down. There isn't much left, and we need to do something. And the only concept that works is a circular economy. So here are schematics. Basically, so far as a society, as an economy, we have a linear economy. We mine materials, we process the materials, we use the materials, and then we throw it away. That's the way it's been ever since. The circular economy has no waste. The circular economy is really like we have here the biological circle. Biology has implemented the circular economy. Nothing gets lost in the biological circle, but the technical circle needs to be closed. And that's what we addressed with this unit. And we have here the term recycling. Circular economy is much more than recycling. Recycling is just a part, but circular economy addresses how we use it, how we reuse it, how we prolong life, how we transfer materials. So it's an economic concept, circular economy. What the key factors are, and what we addressed in urban mining and recycling, probably you thought about materials, but you see that materials are only in second place. Much more important is design for disassembly. Why? Because why is it called urban mining? Today, the built environment is a dump. Nobody knows what's really out there, and once we have to deconstruct the houses, they're crashed down and they go to a landfill or go to street work or something like this. The urban mine is the concept that the built environment is a material stock, is a material mine. And in order to achieve that, we need to be able to disassemble buildings in an economically feasible way. And that's designed for disassemble. We need to build houses so that we can disassemble them in a technically and economically feasible way. And there's many aspects that need to be addressed. It starts with connections. So everything needs to be detachable. For example, this means no glue, no foam, no coating, bolts or form or force holding connections, things like this. The second, of course, suitable materials, and only 3 material groups are allowed in order to have a really functioning circular economy, and that's recycled materials, materials that are fully recyclable, and materials that are biodegradable. That doesn't sound like much, but these groups are huge and they're growing every day. So there's lots of industry players that are jumping onto these markets, and there are very interesting materials around, and I will show you a few. Now, let's look at the unit. Let's look at what we did with our partners. So I said it before, one aspect is connection technologies. And that means, for example, that we have to rethink installation of of a window or how you fix materials. The next step is really important, is a modular construction. This is an explosion drawing here also of the unit, and you probably will agree that explosion drawings are something really unusual for the construction industry. Is more machine industry. However, that's the concept, the planning concept. And of course, here we have digital tools that help us. That's the link to the speech before, you know, BIM and all these tools. But it's really important to invest a lot in planning and modular planning, so you can manufacture more efficiently, you can use more efficiently, you can reuse and rebuild and change more efficiently. The next step is manufacturing. And another big sector coming in the construction industry, prefabrication here. That's the actual unit, that's the fabrication of the actual unit. And you see, we went so far that even technical pipes and all the installation was done in the factory. And then these modules were transported to the construction site and lifted in. And construction time for the complete unit was 3 days. 3 days. A typical construction site of this size, of this complexity in Switzerland, at least 3 months, with all the associated costs due to time, due to error, due to whatever. So there is also potential for efficiency, for cost, for economical benefits. And that's really important in what we do. We don't want to do innovation because it's cool. We want to prove that it makes sense. Looking at some materials, I told you before, I call this for example, I call this Dübendorf because Nest is at the village of Dübendorf. Dübendorf marble, because it looks like marble, but it's polyethylene. It's just a production process that makes it look cool. Reused, reusable, recovered. By the way, all the materials I show you are on the market. They're available, and they're much more available. Insulation, a company in California. This is jeans. Worldwide, we have 1.8 jeans sold per capita per year. That's far more than 10 billion jeans. Superb material for insulation. And the nice thing is you can give it back to the factory once you don't need it anymore, once you deconstruct the house, and then you can, they make new insulation material. So completely in circle. Microform, that's researchy. Also reuse, you can reuse complete things. I could show you much more, but I would like to show you the unit itself, because people think when they hear about urban mining and recycling, well, this is going to look shabby, and it stinks, and architecture. I don't want to live in such a house. Okay, this is how it looks like. It's a architectonically and design in design aspect, an extremely cool building, an extremely cool unit. That's the kitchen, dining table. This is one of the rooms. 2 students are living here. Lots of cool materials. These are the bathrooms. You see this one bathroom is using that black dapple sheets I showed you before. That's recycled glass, a really cool material. Also in terms of cost, these materials are in a cost range comparable to comparable materials that are not sustainable. So also here, no reason why not to do it. Okay, unit number 2. I'm making it really short. Again, maybe we have time afterwards for questions, or you need to see it. Step 2 is a unit that's in planning now. Step 2 is a different approach. Umar had one topic, and that was the circular economy. Step 2 has more than one technical innovation topic, but the key is building along the value chain. Step 2 is a unit that is really heavily working with industrial partners. We have one academic partners, but this is really an industry-driven unit that look at technological problems and solutions. And together we look at the whole chain of planning, manufacturing, installation, material, and trying to optimize these chain for various innovation topics. And I picked two of these units. One is concrete. I mean, concrete is a problematic material. On the other hand, it's an illusion that we say to assume that we can avoid concrete completely, but there is a huge potential to optimize the use of concrete. So we picked one field of application of concrete, one product sector, and that's filigree slabs. That's a technology where you have precast elements that you bring to the construction site, and then you finalize it with in situ cast concrete to such spanning ceilings. They have limitations. In terms of architecture, they always look the same. In terms of span, they always look the same. And they're not really material efficient. They use about the same amount of material than a standard in situ concrete solution. So we looked at this problem and we're looking for partners that were ready to find new solutions for this. And what we were looking at is, you see, here's the unit, and we're looking at this ceiling here. And you can also see a little bit the result. So the design process is fully digital. The architect developed and is still developing software where you can design these ceilings in real time. That's new approaches. I mean, 20 years ago, this was impossible. But with the new tools here, you can see you basically drag and drop, and then your design results. However, this is not only design, it's not just optics. Within this software, you have optimization algorithms for all the static aspects. You have optimization algorithms for the minimization of material. So just using as much material as really needed, and you can save a lot. You can save up to 60% compared to a standard solution just by clever design. The software optimizes for the type of concrete. So we decided that we want to use recycling concrete. Not every concrete is the same in terms of material properties, so the design needs to be different. The software also optimizes for production. The production is 3D. So the molds are printed 3D, and then the elements are precast with the 3D printed molds. So the whole value chain, the whole production and installation chain is optimized. Even looking at logistics, the software optimizes the segmentation so they can be transported on a standard truck. And the final result, that's a rendering, is going to look something like this. Very interesting thing. I'm very confident it's working. So we're not doing impossible science. We're actually quite advanced with the planning, and construction will start about in a year. Another topic, you've seen this stair before. This is basically the same innovation topic, digital design, precast concrete, 3D manufacturing, but at the research stage. So we have a research partner, which is from the Politecnico in Zurigo, and they're really pushing the limits much more than the ceiling. So this is really researchy. So we have the complete picture, because the knowledge created in this project can then move in this project. And at the end, we will have a complete product offer, design software, manufacturing technologies, installation technologies, optimization, everything for the marketplace, actually for the partners that are developing that while they are actually working on this project. Another topic, really important, the building skin. I mean, building skins today are heavily underused. Building skins are really important when it comes to energy, when it comes to room climate, comfort, and these kind of things. So we have lots of innovations from the partners that apply to the building skins. For example, of course, photovoltaics, of course, we have BASF as a big partner, and they have very interesting technologies in heat and light directing technologies, materials, thin films, also active technologies. We have topics like a closed cavity facade, which have quite a bit of advantage. And so the whole building skin, this whole facade, is planned as a playground during operation. So it's planned as a flexible facade. So we can, during operation, elements can be pre-manufactured in the factory with innovation objects, new glass systems, heat exchangers, photovoltaics, whatever. And then you can easily install it on site. And that allows us to keep the unit in operation. This unit is going to be a office and engineering unit. So we will have offices, we'll have meeting rooms, and we also will have, we'll have an innovation lab. Basically, this lab here is thermally insulated here, so you can open things and leave it open for a couple of days. But for the rest of the unit, we can change things within half a day. So we don't need to take the unit out of service. The partners can innovate while the unit works, while they work. Many more topics, but I'm getting close to half an hour and I don't want to stretch it. Material topic, that's an interesting technology. Only one example of many. The major partner for this unit is BASF. They developed a technology where they have products out of thermoformable wood. So this is wood, this is timber material, but you can use it, you can manufacture components using thermoforming, and you can make really interesting stuff with this, from furniture to surfaces. Actually, we're going to use something like this in the unit, and it's going to look like this. I could tell you at least 3 hours or 5 hours more. So again, it's only a very small part of what we're doing at Nest at the moment. The invitation is out there. Please come, please visit. Some people from Bergamo already visited us. That's the reason why I have the pleasure to present. And it's also something you need to see it to really believe it. It's next to.
I agree, Enrico.
Right, next to impossible to bring it in a presentation, but I hope I could give you a little teaser with this. And again, this is not a rendering. This is the real thing. 3 years old. It changed quite a bit. There is much more to see. But if you want to know more, either visit here, Nest overview. Actually, the T is wrong here. Or come and visit. Thank you very much.
Looks really cool, Enrico.
Thank you very much, Enrico. Your speech is very, very interesting. And as you know, we are building companies, so we are very, very interested in innovation. But often innovation is a slogan, and we have to change, to transform it. Innovation from slogan to innovation. Yes. And so I want to ask both of you, Enrico and Zaki, which is the correct approach that a company in the building sector have to take towards innovation? Zaki?
I think that's a huge question. Simply huge. My attitude is to start with something. To start with something small, because construction industry is highly conservative. People are very conservative. They can't make huge changes. So they need to make small steps, baby steps towards innovation. To take specific place, and start over there. You know, from our technology, maybe starting with monitoring and inspection on a project site. Start to understand what's going on. Something like that, you know, because it's a process. It takes a long time. Many people say construction industry will have a Tesla, which will disrupt everything, you know. I gave that example from the automotive industry. You know, where I can't predict that. I don't know.
Okay.
But I think for existing contractors, you should start with something. That's my message. Start with small things.
Thank you very much, Zaki. Grazie Fabio della tua partecipazione, contraccambio i saluti, a presto. And Enrico, do you want to tell us something about the approach of companies towards innovation?
If I had a real answer to that question, I would be stinky, filthy rich, right? It's a huge question. I think what is important is you have to think long term, because the challenges, not only for the construction industry, but specifically also for the construction industry, are long-term driven. That somehow conflicts with today's economic system, where you need to think in revenue per year. Nevertheless, I'm extremely convinced that if you can find a way to think long-term, you will be rewarded automatically, because the world is changing. Think small. I fully agree with Zaki. Think small, and I would add something to think small. Don't necessarily think technology. Don't be blinded with what's possible today, BIM and things. Keep it simple and stupid. You know, everybody's talking about BIM. You know, I always say, what's the advantage of being able to plan digitally? What's the competitive advantage? Nothing. At this point, nothing. It costs more. It's more effort. The question is, what can you make out of it? Well, you can operate more efficiently a building. So there's the revenue. You can manufacture more efficiently, things like this. But don't be necessarily blinded by technology and think you need to put all technology available to operation. Because why? That's difficult. You're not competent enough. You cannot just learn a new technology and then bring it to life. If you look at urban mining and recycling, I wouldn't call it low tech, but it's not software driven. It's the concept. It's the thinking behind it. You know. So that would be few thoughts for me in this context.
Thank you very much, Enrico. E questo è un pochino quello che vogliamo fare noi con Edinnova alla fine. L'approccio all'innovazione non è una cosa semplice, si fa un passo alla volta, ma da qualche parte bisogna partire. E i ponti che noi abbiamo creato oggi sono solo un piccolo passo, ma dietro c'è veramente tanto, ci sono tanti progetti dove insieme, con la cooperazione, confronto e con la contaminazione, trasformiamo l'innovazione o cerchiamo di trasformare l'innovazione in un qualcosa di fattivo che ci renda tutti un pochino più competitivi. Thank you all. Thank you very much to all our guests, Mr. Zaki Flato, Mrs. Daniela Bellesini e Mr. Enrico Marchesi. Thank you very much for your contribution to this to our assembly. Thank you very much also for your precious knowledge sharing that we appreciate very much. And thank you. And we will surely schedule or organize a next event or a visit, maybe to touch with our hands what you have done.
That would be great. Thanks for inviting. Good evening.
My side too.
Bye everybody. Bye.
Bye bye. Stay safe.
Thank you, bye bye.
Ciao Daniela. E per chi volesse qualsiasi informazione sulla rete, siamo ovviamente disponibili, ci trovate sulla pagina LinkedIn, giusto a dare anche queste informazioni di servizio, perché poi siamo qui disponibili a rispondere a tutte le vostre domande. E concludo con un ringraziamento ovviamente sia a Confindustria che a ANCE, che hanno comunque reso possibile l'evento di oggi. Grazie all'Innovation Manager Giacomo Biraghi e a Pier che ci segue, il manager di rete, non mi viene in inglese, non voglio complicare. E grazie a tutti voi per la presenza, perché poi ricordiamoci che la rete siamo noi, quindi la rete funziona quando noi abbiamo voglia e la volontà di farla andare. Grazie a tutti.